what you should do when you're buying a home in 2025 and beyond. These are a few tips that you should do when you get ready to purchase your first property. These are a lot of things that people don't think about. These are a lot of things that I didn't think about. And so here we go. Please like and subscribe, support the channel. Thank you so much. First off, I would say figure out if you want natural light or if you want shade, right? So I personally like a lot of natural light in the house. I like to have it as opposed to, turning on lights in the morning and things of that nature. It's nice to have that morning sun, but you don't, in the summertime, that could be problematic. So I always look for houses that are facing like, east, so I can get the nice morning sun. And then they have the afternoon shade. And again, it depends on the position of the house and location. But those are some of the things that I always look for. Excuse me, my allergies again. Those are some of the things that I look for. And if you don't want that, obviously you want a house that's facing westward or something like that. And again, you'd have to these are good questions to ask your realtor, so you know. So if you're facing west and maybe you have a hill or something like that, you'll probably get a nice sunset, more than likely. But that's one thing that I always look for: natural light in the morning. For those of you with sensitive, eyes or something like that, you probably don't want that, or maybe invest in some really good shades for the windows. Number two, always look for a house that is positioned well. Now, for those of you who want to invest and you don't really know where you want to start, and maybe you want to buy a home first before you start investing, well, one of the ways that I've known people to do is you look for a house maybe that's on a corner, and if the house is positioned correctly, you may have some extra room or some extra land next to the house. So you can look for a property that has a little bit of more land on it, and if it's buildable, and that way you can sell off that portion of land and still maintain your property and make some money off that, and then take that money and you can go invest that money into another property somewhere else. That's a strategy I've seen people use. That could be effective. Personally, I don't like to own homes on corner lots. I do like to own commercial buildings on corner lots, but that's a different topic for another day. But corner lots, for safety reasons, I don't like. If a car comes up, too high, and you have kids out front or something like that. If you're on a busy street, that's another thing. I won't buy a house on a busy street. That's just personal preference. But depending on what your goals are, that could be effective. Maybe you want to build an ADU on your property and get some rental income that way, which honestly, an ADU can be cost effective, but you always want to check your state or your city and county codes, so that once you buy it, you can build on the lot, and it is has a code where you can have they call them mother-in-law suites or accessory dwelling units or stuff like that. Those are things you want to check for, because you want to make sure you're permitted, because for the utilities for your ADU, you'll need to tie into your home's systems and stuff like that. So something to think about. You buy a house that already has a structure on it, like an in-law suite or something like that. You could use it for Airbnb. You could use it for in-law suite, or for the in-law suite, but you can use it for Airbnb or midterm rental, maybe nurses. Maybe you live near a hospital, something like that, and that could generate some income. I have a manager friend of mine, actually, who she rents out her basement to a student, and that offsets her mortgage. I think she rents it out for like $1,500, but that's all included. There's a little kitchenette down there and all that good stuff. Kids don't really need a lot. And it has its own private entry. If you choose to go that route, and maybe I'll make another video about that, but that's something you want to make sure you have a separate entrance for. And there's a few other nuanced things in there, but always check with your county to make sure you're going to be within code for whatever it is that you're doing if you're going that route. Tip number 3, when you want to buy a house, I like to buy houses that are situated off of a dead-end street or a cul-de-sac. My opinion, you can't go wrong with those, just because if you have a family or kids, it's less headache, because the only people that are going to be down that street are the people who live there. If it's a dead end, to me, that's even better yet. A cul-de-sac, either one of those. And it all depends on what it backs up to. You always like to watch that, because I don't want to be near power lines. It's just a personal preference. Nothing wrong with them. But me personally, I just wouldn't want to be near them. I don't like trees around the property, or I shouldn't say around, but like close to the property. So if I'm looking at a house and it has a tree in the front yard, that's something that I'm a little leery of. I guess this would be number 4, but I guess it'd be a little leery of that, because trees, obviously the roots can go down and disrupt the plumbing. And if the house is a little older, that could be a problematic. I've had it happen to me before, to where, we're in a drought season or something like that. Well, what I learned was trees, when they need water, they search for the nearest water. And if your plumbing is there, they will invade that, and that could be a problem. So I had to cut out the tree root and all that stuff. It was just nasty. So, and for your gutters, roofs, the tree sap, insects. So I generally don't like to get houses that have these really mature trees in the front of the house. Now, if they're off in a distance and they're not around the property, then I like low landscape and evergreens, because I want low maintenance when it comes to that. I don't want to have my water bill to go up. But I generally try to buy houses that don't have trees right in the front yard, or maybe right in the backyard, or somewhere very close to the structure. Just for, again, this is a preference thing, and I like a lot of natural light in my house. So I know there's areas in Portland that they call them the mushroom houses, because they're all trees all around it everywhere, barely gets any light. So those are things that I stay away from personally, because I just like more light, and I don't want to deal with limbs and have a windstorm or something like that and knocks it. It's just a mess. I don't like to deal with it. Another tip that I look for when buying a house, let's see, we covered that. Location. One more, we'll get one more, and then we'll go ahead and end this video, because I don't want to make it too long. And then if you guys like it, you can comment below, and I can make more content, maybe do a part 2, or maybe even a series of what to look for when you're buying a house. But when you're buying a house, one thing you want to look for is what areas, what's in the area, right? Is there car dealerships? Is there grocery stores? What's the main driver in the area? I bought a house one time, and it's not exactly on the same street, but there was a lot of car dealerships on the street, which it was a very busy road. At the time, I didn't think about it. Looking back at it now, I would never do that, just because it was so busy. You got people test driving cars, and they even were boat dealerships there. I mean, it was very, very, very busy. So I personally will try and stay away from dealership row if you see that, just because, again, it's just going to create more traffic and be a lot more busier than I'd like, and a lot of commerce going on. So that's just a personal thing. Maybe it doesn't bother you, maybe you like it, that's fine. But me personally, I didn't like living by so many dealerships. I was a little bit of a I don't know, I just didn't care for it. So hopefully this gives you some guidance. Hopefully this helps. Maybe I will go ahead and do a follow-up video on this, and give you guys some more tips on things you should look for when you're buying a house. Maybe do a part 2. So I hope that helps. Take care. Please like, subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye.